Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena. It's Kevin here, and it's, I guess, my Tuesday afternoon crypto show here right at the New York Stock Exchange close every Tuesday for the time being. Probably done a pretty good handful of these over the last few months, and I guess probably keep at it for now, and I don't know. 2024 might bring some slight changes to the way we make content at Crypto Traders Arena. So I don't know. I might adapt this show a little bit in the future, but for the moment, it's just me kind of showing up and live streaming, talking about crypto, and have a bunch to talk about today. I think I'm all running on YouTube. Hey, everyone in the chat. Hanya, what's up? Constantine and Michael. Michael was with us earlier in Capua 1, which we're kind of getting towards the end of our first Capua 1 trading training program. And we'll be firing up another round of that here soon, but maybe I'll talk about that a little later. I guess really, of course, today in crypto, everybody's just pretty much got all eyes on Bitcoin and this whole ETF stuff. I guess the news, seemed like I woke up to everybody being all fired up about, man, I saw people saying that these things could be trading as soon as Thursday, which is hilarious. I think it was the Van Eck one. Somebody on the news was saying they're going to start trading that thing on Thursday. So I don't know. Of course, this is all just kind of like, this is the announcement of the announcement. Remember, like previous crypto bull runs, like of course, like XRP, they're the kings of the announcement of an announcement, fundamental driver. So I don't know if that's what's going on right now, because I don't think there was any real announcement, but definitely all this talk about it, an announcement on Thursday and likely approval, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm showing no data on my streaming though, so can someone in the chat maybe just say hey and let me know if I'm all running? I think I am, but. And one of the things about YouTube that bugs me about streaming is there's just kind of like a 10-second delay. So it's a little harder to interact with people. Not really seeing anybody say, hey, can anybody say hi in the chat just to give me a little bit of some confidence that you guys can even hear me? All good. Thanks, Hanya. Cool. Well, anyway, ETF stuff. I think in my notes here, I wrote, I don't know what's going to happen. It sounds like they'll probably get approved. Maybe it happens on Thursday. Who knows? Is it bullish? I don't know. I suppose in the bigger picture, I imagine it's got to be sort of bullish. I don't know. I'm a huge Bitcoin bull in general, so my bias is already set for the long term. But that doesn't mean that the short term can't have all kinds of fuckery going on. And certainly, this is, what I wrote down is this should be more of a popcorn eating event and not try to capitalize on this event, I'd say. If you're like a super sniper lower time frame trader that has your plan worked out and you can step in on any given day and trade your setup, then of course it's probably just going to be a little bit business as usual. But I think we're kind of getting into like hard mode trading here at the moment while this resolves. And it's not the kind of thing like a news event like this. Are you really going to try to trade it to make money? That seems like a bad idea. So it's probably best to sit on the sidelines if you're not really like a sniper trader, and just let's let this, the next couple days at least, resolve and see what happens. Everything's pointing towards like a sell the news type environment here, except for the fact that everybody is saying that. And also, there's just a lot of momentum behind Bitcoin right now. So we'll see. But really, the charts tell all, in my opinion, so I don't want to get too wrapped up in the actual announcement of the announcement of the announcement, or just the whole news around it altogether. I think it's best to just I mean, look at this chart I have on the screen, and we're just running right up into 61.8. So like huge level, like without a doubt, 100%. Bitcoin's been shooting straight up, and it's coming into like an epic level. So there's got to be some fuckery here. If anything, expect some volatility here, and also I don't know. I would be. I'm not gonna like chop a finger off if I'm wrong or anything, but I'd be shocked if that 61.8 48,500 level doesn't get at least tested. I also wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of rip right through it that could ultimately become like a blow off toppy looking wick to the upside. That would be what my, like, if I was just looking at this chart, that's what I would be expecting. I mean, I suppose Paul has a setup that he trades every day where he just simply is going to hit that 61.8 level. Now, of course, it's a lower time frame type trading, but you know, his setup would look something like this, risking 2-to-1 back into the range. And so he'd be looking for some sort of rejection of Mountain Man. And man, I can't, that seems, I mean, I'm not saying Bitcoin's necessarily going to come all the way back down to 30. It might, but this is just kind of a pretty standard day trading setup that, that Paul likes to trade. So point being, I think there'll be some kind of reaction here. We'll see. And if anything, that's a pretty damn good profit taking level for smart money that bought the bottom a year ago. So let's just watch. I think that's all we can do. Don't get too caught up in like whether or not it's going to be bullish or not bullish or sell the news. Seems likely, but it also could just be like the news just sort of, there's just nothing on the other side of the news. And I mean, Bitcoin certainly could benefit from some consolidation. It's just been straight up here. So maybe we just go sideways for a little while after that too. It doesn't necessarily have to just turn around and come straight back down. But it is what it is. Probably hitting 61.8. Maybe we even hit it today. Who knows? Maybe we hit it tomorrow. Maybe the ETFs all come out on Thursday and I just become an ETF trader. Just kidding. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't have the image handy, but there's that image floating around. Maybe I can pull it up from the Discord, which actually kind of gives me a chance to look at our Discord a little bit more. I think I'll start showing kind of what we do inside Discord a little more often these days, just to kind of give people an idea of what goes on in our group. But this is floating around a lot here lately. This gold spot ETF came out here back in whatever that is, 2003 or 4 or something. And of course, gold ripped after that. This doesn't mean Bitcoin has to do that, but I don't know. In the bigger picture, in the long term, I imagine these ETFs are relatively bullish for Bitcoin. But I also just think Bitcoin is so bullish in its scarcity. And the only thing is that I always ask myself, if I was going to weigh both sides of the story here, it's like, and I'm not the smartest person ever, but the problem with these ETFs is they open up Wall Street's ability to play games. Right? Like, especially, much like gold, like, is there really as much physical gold in their possession as they've written, or sold contracts on? I mean, that's more getting into futures and stuff, I suppose. This is a spot, but still, point being, are there going to be options traded on these things? So there is like some new mechanics entered into like the ability to manipulate Bitcoin's price. So I don't know, but I don't think the long term is that important to me in general, and like what's going to happen because of the ETF in the long term. I think there'll be a short term reaction either way. But like I said, we're just coming up into a sick level. So let's just get the popcorn out and we'll watch. Hey, Dow Moody. Inverse crypto Kramer, yeah. That's hilarious. I saw that today and just made me laugh. I think I posted that somewhere in here too. Because a while back I had put this in the oh god, I don't know what I just did there. Yeah, this image. I guess this was back in March, April. The inverse Kramer, or not, sorry, inverse Powell. Did I say Kramer? I said Kramer. Inverse Powell. Dow Moody said Kramer. But yeah, this is now very much completed. So that was fun. Anyway, not a lot to say about Bitcoin though. Let's just make it quick here. 61.8 resistance. This is the key high that I've said it a lot. This was like the confirmation of the bear market. So I think that's a big level either way. Huge FU to they suck people in for the last time long here and then just shit all over them with this fake out here. So clearly this is a big level. We'll see what happens. I mean, if we want to like look a little bit zoomed in or just kind of take a closer look, I mean, RSI is very much overbought and actually starting to put in what could be a potential weekly divergence. And OBV still hasn't broken. And of course, this is Coinbase and volume's just kind of gone flat and I don't know. So it's like the beginnings of weakness, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's still pointing straight higher and has a lot of momentum behind it. So I don't want to like call tops. I just think coming into this event, it seems like there could at least just be some wick to the upside, like I said, and then some dip. There's tons of open air back below. Maybe they start backfilling a little bit of this, but it's just still higher highs and higher lows for the most part. And everything's pointing towards a stronger market this year, in my opinion. And maybe Bitcoin can even just kind of pull back into the range and go sideways so altcoins can catch a bid here, because you can see the dip coming in altcoins to be buyable. So I'll get to that in a minute, but woo, Bitcoin just ripping. Looks like it's ripping right now. It's actually busting to new what's this? Grayscale's. Oh, that's funny. Grayscale, and I saw some shit. Grayscale, man, is kind of like the premiums or what. I don't know how the ETF works exactly, but I saw that their fees seem to be the highest, well higher than everybody else's, which doesn't surprise me. Looks like there was a little bit of an impulse move in Bitcoin right there, and just now, yeah, you can see like look how close we're getting. I mean, we're probably gonna hit it during this show. So daily chart, bearish. You know, I didn't. Well, I did finish with weekly. I suppose the OBV wasn't broken on the weekly yet, so it's still just pointing higher. Man, look, even looking at this, I mean, sure, RSI actually is in divergence that technically confirmed. There's a big M here in RSI that actually did confirm. So like, that's like an early warning shot here. But, and of course, RSI is pushing up into overbought here. But, you know, look at OBV, just higher highs and higher lows. So it's not broken yet. And hell, they're going to hit this right now. So I don't know. And there's no reason why we have to just stop on a dime and turn around. I mean, it might shoot all the way up into the, who knows? I mean, the question is there going to be a blow off top here? Or is there just going to be like a kind of not, you know, just continuing grinding higher and no real big change? But if there was going to be a blow off top, this is the kind of location that it might happen. That's probably the most important thing to note. Just if you're thinking blow off tops, then this red box is a pretty good place for one to happen. And I've pointed out, I think even last week, I pointed out that this was a Mountain Man 61.8 rejection as well. So very similar situation here, potentially, minus the pandemic, hopefully. But you can see how 61.8 at 13,500 rejected. The same exact price action, really. You know, W bottom off the lows here and straight up dead cat bounce into Mountain Man and got rejected. Same thing that happened now. It's just the bottom's a little bit, well, more head and shouldersy and bigger. And then there's a cheeky little weekly W down here. Well, that's funny. Sol just ripped. Well, I want to look at Sol in a minute, so I'll look at that, which is hilarious. I had a Sol short on, and it missed my target by a few ticks, and now just ripped. I've been playing around with the drift perpetual swaps on Solana network. So I have a little Sol short on right now that looks like it might get stopped out here. It's not close to the stop yet, but man, they just turned it on a dime. Anyway, I'll look at Sol in a minute. Because I did want to, that is on my list. So anyway, it looks like they're going to hit Mountain Man here in a second, and we'll just see what happens. I think really at the end of the day is don't get too caught up into these news events in general. I mean, they are big deals in the bigger picture, but you can't really trade them per se. Oh, so then the next point I wanted to make is kind of like what's happening to Ethereum. Like when you look at Ethereum, especially against Bitcoin, and when you look at altcoins, they sort of look like they're kind of running out of gas a bit. And I think all eyes are on Bitcoin. So, you know, that makes sense. makes sense that these things might be coming off a little bit while Bitcoin sort of has its party. And first and foremost, just looking at dominance, hilarious bounce here, just strong ass bounce the last 2 days now, or 2 weeks, I should say. But especially like on the just it looks very like manipulated or whatever. But this is Bitcoin taking the thunder here, stealing the party. So it makes sense that maybe alts are a little more red, and really the dominance is still just playing around in this dump chaser zone. So there's nothing to really say here. It's just in that same uptrend as Bitcoin. But I think it's just worth noting that, I mean, we're trying to get our fills on altcoins, or at least I am. And I think the opportunity is coming. So, um, so everything's just kind of going along as planned, really, I think. I mean, it's not a great place to be a Bitcoin buyer here, but if you're trying to buy altcoins, then I think it's setting up for us. Which reminds me, if anybody has requests, maybe throw them in the chat, and I'll try to catch those at the end if you guys want to look at anything specific. And I'm going to look at some names I'm bidding on, and I'm also going to look at some of the Solana meme nonsense, and then, well, that'll probably fill out the day pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, Bitcoin dominance ripping up. And I have total on here that doesn't really fit into my whole point, but it's just interesting that we're still just pushing higher, and the total market cap kind of hovering around 38.2 also. So it's still just kind of, this 1.6 trillion seemed like a pretty big level, and we got sucked up into it, and it hasn't broken yet. But more importantly is like look at Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin. So like Ethereum is running into resistance at 38.2. Now we have like 3 tags of it. Hasn't been able to break above. So it's just like consolidating. Maybe it's like loading the spring for a move higher, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's kind of trapped between what I would call the top of the range here, like the old range, this 2100 high. We basically got above it, hit 38.2, have been bouncing around for a few weeks, and can't get, breaking to either side. So I think a break to either side of this consolidation is sort of like the next interesting thing for Ethereum. Nothing's happening really right here. We're just kind of trapped in this tight range right in the middle of this little range. Now, of course, when this, it's like we're just banging against 38.2, and it might just set up like a bull flag, and we might shoot higher later. But I think this is a pretty good, another good representation of how Bitcoin's just going to have all the thunder here, or steal everybody's attention for now. And it's not like Ethereum's broken, but any breaks of these lows would be sort of like M-ish kind of behavior. Maybe we have to come back in the range. We'd be closing back inside the range then, and there might be more sideways in store for Ethereum. But on the flip side, if this does turn into like a little bull flag, I mean, in general, this Ethereum looks very bullish in general, just in the sense that we're making higher highs and higher lows. We've kind of broken out of the long rangy consolidation period, and kind of needs to clean up maybe a little bit. RSI touched overbought and came back in, and then OBV is still pointing higher, so it's not like it's rolled over, but it's just weak compared to Bitcoin. I think that's fair. I saw a funny tweet. Somebody said Ethereum's trading like the Ethereum spot ETF is going to get denied, and that is true. It's trading pretty boring right now. But and even a more interesting look would be Ethereum BTC. And it's funny because, I mean, I drew this trend line a while ago, and I did keep saying just, until we get on the other side of that trend line, I don't know. This looks like it was just sort of hardly trending down. And of course, today this week we've ticked through the lows. And so this is like a big M now. Now, of course, this is a good place to see a bounce now that they've FU'd the lows. But with Mountain Man down here, 61.8 down here, just the opposite of Bitcoin. Like, it seems like we probably dipped down against, those levels there at like 45 or something. So it looks like this is still pushing down. And I do still believe until like alt season's like over here, right? Like maybe this grinds all the way down into reload zones, eventually starts Wing through this trend line, and then that's the base in altcoins. Because altcoins have a lot of room to fall still, right? Like they look like they're gonna. Well, many of them look like they're gonna, but they have a lot of room. CBTC, I guess, Paul, is it ripping again or what? I don't know. Maybe that's an old. Oh, you were probably saying that in the chat a few minutes ago. Oh wait, people are ETF approved. Oh, everybody's saying the ETF approved supposedly 46K. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the ETF just. Oh yeah, so the SEC approves all 11 applications simultaneously. Sweet. Now, only if McDonald's would do that for us, we could all get hired at the same time. But McDonald's has told us they'll only hire one degenerate, blown up trader a day. Well, there you have it. So, oh, Paul's asking me to look at something. I guess. Sorry, I don't really. That's what I hate about YouTube. Oh, the classic sort of FA kind of trading. I guess is what Paul's getting at. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. So whatever the news just came out here now, you can see this is the sort of price action we should expect here for the next couple days. So obviously they took anybody that was short got washed out. That must have been when. Oh man, and Solana didn't stop me out, and now it's back. Sorry, I got my laptop open. Anyway, this is the kind of shit that's going to run people over through these kind of events. So like, this is why I was saying just get out the popcorn and. So I suppose this we didn't hit Mountain Man though, but damn, we got close, and so who knows? Maybe they'd take these lows, rip it back up the other way. So expect some fuckery. And I'm just kind of catching up in the chat because people were. Yeah, Da Vinci would say the ETF approval gives smart money permission to dump. Yeah, totally. I mean, and short potentially too, like use things like options to short the hell out of the market. Um, but overall, I think, like I was saying to somebody yesterday, my friend calls it the Bitcoin crunch, and he'll think there's going to be a time where Bitcoin's in such demand and so scarce, there's not going to be any to buy, and everybody's going to want it. And I actually think that's going to happen someday. I don't know when, but someday there's going to be this weird rush to the doors of Bitcoin, and there's just not going to be enough for sale, and price is going to just go insane. Then I do think that'll happen. You know, it's already happened in some respects, but I don't think the true crunch, like he talks about, has happened yet, where it's just like people have to have it. But anyway, suppose I got through Ethereum versus yeah. So that my whole point was showing that Ethereum charts and stuff is like, you know, Bitcoin's got the stage right now. Altcoins are starting the rollover process, so hopefully we can go get our bids working and get some fills in the next couple months on those. And I mean, I'd prefer Bitcoin to just sort of pull back a little bit, kind of do some cleanup. I mean, you know, I don't need to repeat myself because I've talked a lot about it before, but I mean, short term support is probably, or like nearer term, closer support is probably like 38.3, kind of down against this traffic area if it rolls over. And then there's a lot more support, I think, down here at this 32K high. So, I mean, if price can manage to get down back here, I think that's an interesting place to see a bounce because that would just be a nice higher low kind of thing and just sort of reaffirming the uptrend into the halving. And then that would also just crush altcoins in that dump and probably get lots of fills there. So main point for altcoin investing is get your bids working by the dip. But we'll look at some of those right now. But first, I just want to point out, or just want to mention Guild of Bulls again, because Hanya's project, she's in here right now. But I just wanted to ask everybody to go give them a follow because they're trying to get this project launched on Magic Eden and just need a few more followers. Yeah, 30. Need to get to 100 followers on Twitter. So I'd appreciate it if everybody would just go and follow Guild of Bulls. I saw this as Lady of Crypto, which is cool. Yeah, another, and you know, the whole project's basically just kind of like, well, making these bull NFTs, but then, you know, various traders and trading educators and people from around the community will all have ETF, or what am I saying? ETF, an NFT. Like mine is my profile picture now. And that's Paul and I right here. So, and that's Colin from Hero Labs. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it if, or I'd appreciate it if you just go follow this Twitter account here and look for the launch here in, like, I guess the next couple of weeks. So this is pretty fun. And actually, this, you know, this project and actually Solana meme shitcoins, between this and Solana, just kind of reinvigorated me with crypto. To be honest, I'm like excited about actually playing around with like all kinds of crypto tech here now, and it's kind of because this is fun to me. And then just we went on like a complete degenerate rampage over December with Solana meme coins, and that kind of reinstated my like excitement around crypto because I was getting a little jaded with getting kicked off of every exchange, and sort of felt like I needed an injection of I don't know what makes this shit fun. So this is one of them. So thanks, Hanya, for that. Anyway, so yeah, follow Guild of Bulls. Watch for that project coming out here, and then we'll get into some Solana memes on that note. And funny enough, first one I'll. So clearly, like, well, actually, first let's look at Solana really quick, but because I have it in my list here, and I just going back to that whole story of Bitcoin taking the spotlight, altcoins looking like they could potentially roll over. Of course, Solana's been like a mega high flyer, so it's got a long way to come back down into like reload zone type stuff. And I think it's obviously a leader right now, and clearly the mania on the meme, just on Solana memes themselves, and other chains as well. But I think Solana's definitely dominated the meme extravaganza here the last month. And it's up for debate whether that's still going to keep going or not. I feel like a lot of these shit coins are kind of running out of gas. But we'll look at some of those in a minute. But I mean, of course, I've already repeated a bunch of times, like I'm trying to buy the altcoin dip here whenever that comes in the next few months, hopefully. And in general, I'm just very simply just drawing fibs off of these kind of things and looking to try to buy, tests of the previous market structure, which is probably going to end up in reload zones like 61.8, 78.6, or maybe even lower kind of areas. And, Solana has a long way to fall, and I don't think it's like necessarily broken yet here, but I just wanted to point out that this is kind of an ugly looking 3-bar top on a weekly chart potentially. I mean, if we lose these lows this week, like 85. So it looks a little heavy. And if you zoom in a little bit, like there's clearly an M here, and we're just retesting the M right as we speak. And you can kind of see the weakness even right there. They ripped up a minute ago, like I said. Just missed my stop hilariously. Damn. Yeah, my stop was at 104.50, but so anyway, I'm not going to get too into that. It's not even really like a very good setup. I just wanted to put on a small trade to try this drift. It's like the biggest perpetual swap on Solana, and it seems to be cool. I'm just trying to figure out what the fees are and all that shit. So I'll report on that later if I can keep taking some trades there. But point being is there's an M top here in one of the sort of leaders in altcoins, I'd say. So just keep that in mind. And then let's look at some of the memes for fun, because I think that'll probably be a part of this show every week going forward. We'll be just talking about on-chain stuff. And the activity's basically been on Solana. So, and funny enough, when I was on Twitter posting about this show and saying, let me know if anybody had any requests. And these people, Baby Bonk, they were actually tweeting on or commenting on our tweet asking us to look at Baby Bonk, which is one I haven't seen up until a few minutes ago. But it's a pretty good example of, this one's a little older actually than most of the, this one goes all the way back to November 27th. This is like a Dino coin. Man, that goes all the way back to November. So, but this one looked pretty interesting to me, actually. It's just a question of, is there any more gas in the tank for these? That's what I would say. Like, this chart looks really nice. I mean, it looks a lot like all the charts we try to buy in altcoins, right? I mean, clearly they had some mega run up in December. And it's come all the way back down. And there's not really a W yet here. And it looks like did it double even in the last few days? Probably did. Yeah, so it looks like well, not quite. It almost doubled off the lows here. And it looks like they're coming back down. I mean, probably best to wait for W's here, but that's a pretty nice looking chart. So Baby Bonk, good for you guys. Of course, this is a 61K liquidity, which is within sort of the realm that I'm okay with. And it's 220K market cap. So I suppose it was, we could look at that here. Back at the highs, it was Yeah, like 2.8 million in market cap. So I don't know, a 220K market cap. If this thing can get going again at all, then it's not going to be hard to bang doubles off and, maybe more. I just don't know. I have to be honest. It seems like a month ago was pretty much if you aped into just about anything that was like new and shiny, you could sneak a double out pretty quick, and then it might keep going. And then now it seems like they're it's not as common, and some of them run out of steam earlier. And then when they do run out of steam, of course, they come all the way back down like 90%. So, but Baby Bonk looks pretty good. I don't know what it is or what they're doing exactly. I'm not going to get into that on this show, but it's a damn nice looking chart. It's just if you're, the thing is about these, like, it depends on what kind of trading you're trying to do. Like, if you're trying to buy these brand new issues, like for example, when it was coming out right here, it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of money to be made just aping early if you can be fortunate enough to ape early enough. And then it just becomes like a Ponzi scheme. It's like, can you ape in and get out before they all dump on you? Because like this is pretty classic. So that's like the first impulse move is, can you trade that? And then if you try to buy this dip here, it's sort of a mixed bag. Like, you can draw like a month ago, like buying pump chaser zones and stuff like this on things like this, this came down to 61.8 even. But if you can buy that first initial dip, then there was a lot of doubles being had in here, and some of them continued, but a lot of them also just do exactly this. You can see how they like dipped it, sucked in the dip buyers, and then really just brought it up into like short reload zones off of the old highs, and then just dumped all over everybody. So it's very dangerous in here, but in the right climate, it's fine. But I don't know if we're in that climate anymore. It's yet to be determined, but and then the next thing with these memes is, so then when it comes all the way back down and starts Wing out, of course, these are like W's I'd love to buy in altcoins. You just got to have some sort of reason to think these things are going to stick around, because they can also just if once they've died, like, did this die right here, or was it just setting a base? Of course, in hindsight, it turns out it was setting a base, but a lot of them have just died. I have all these in this list here. Many of these are dead. So, nice looking coin either way. So now you just got to ask yourself, like, I don't know, is it going to die here, or is it going to set another base? But I would say I've been putting just a 21 EMA on these. And I think the 21 EMA is a great, especially on the lower time frames, like when they're brand new and I'm like looking at like a 5-minute chart or something, or 1 minute even. I like this is just like, I like to see consolidations and breakouts through the 21, and then I like to see checks of it and support. Like even through here, that W coming in right around the 21, that's like sort of what I'm looking for. And then when it breaks and the 21 starts pointing down, like even this move here, like that's great if you could catch it, but it just like, it was putting too much resistance into the 21 here. So of course they had to still go down, and you can just kind of see how it takes forever, and then slowly but surely, now we're above it again. I mean, we were above it. Like this W was nice through it. That was a nice opportunity, I think, which kind of stalled out. And now we're doing the same thing again. So it's just like, I would say if this thing's alive, it'll probably sort of W around somewhere around that 200 and start trending higher. So if you love the name, I don't mind just hitting that level here and hoping for the best. But now all these are risk, these are all risk to zero, kind of like Brian Beamish, little old lady risk management. Although the trading style is very different, but sort of like, I just, buy a small amount, don't use any kind of stop or mental stop even, and just try to sell half on a double as quickly as I can to get my position, my capital back out. And then just, what you do with the rest is up to you, I suppose. Like I've been I'm starting to be more aggressive about taking more profit. But anyway, this is a pretty good example of, this one's a little older, like I said, and we'll just have to see if it can stay in the game here. And who knows, maybe like 5 or 6 months down the road, this thing is back. If they do something cool, or for whatever reason, people still like it. Oh my God, Omar, is that real? Omar's saying Gary just tweeted that they hacked Securities and Exchange Twitter, that ETF not approved. Is that true? Is that definitely true? That's hilarious. Well, there you go. Again, this is another reason, don't get too sucked into the news. It's just not worth it, because it's just going to be fuckery. Suppose we could peek at Bitcoin again really quick and just see Looks like they're putting in just still Mr. Darth Maul. That's 4 hour candles, so I guess the hourly candle is going to close here in, well, not for 25 more minutes, but that's looking pretty Darth Maul-y. Kind of ugly. But I'll get back to my shit coins. Um, yep, it's true. They're saying that's hilarious. Now, did BlackRock themselves hack the Twitter, or was it like a hacker? I'm sure that BlackRock, they probably just called their friends and said to do that. Um. Anyway, back to shitcoins. I like to. I'll show you some more examples with this 21 EMA. And this is just a simple way. I like to use a moving average to kind of, because of course this is like trend trading. I mean, ironically, or not ironically, but this isn't really like. I mean, basically the kind of approach I'm taking here is I don't want to own all these names really for an investment. It's just more like, is it trending higher in the moment? Is it shiny and brand new? And is it going to go into a wild uptrend that I could capitalize on? I'm not really necessarily trying to like, buy reload zones. And so that's why when like this one is down in reload zones again now, below, it becomes I mean, you really have to ask yourself if this thing's going to die or not, because it's sort of like you wanted to be a buyer right here, I'd say, like into the strength. Like all those W's coming in above the 21 here. If you weren't involved in the initial burst, or even buying this W clearly back here through the 21 would have been a nice trade. So it's just, let's just see, like I could show you like one that we've been watching that sort of isn't maintaining that. Well, I do have a list I want to cover. So, we'll see them as I go, because I wanted to mention like one of the leaders. I think probably with the memes, like Carol, one of our chief memer in charge, or just chief, just degen. He's the king of us, all of our degen trading. So hats off to Carol. He's been crushing it lately, and also just helping us all out, kind of navigate all this bullshit. I mean, here would be one. Well, the point he was saying, watch this one as a leader. If it can turn, maybe those shit coins can have some momentum at their backs again. And this is a pretty, we didn't come all the way back down, which makes me nervous. I mean, it was just trend, it broke, clearly had an insane run. I mean, this thing went nuts. And slowly but surely it started breaking the 21 and losing, went into a downtrend. And then most recently it did break through and tried to find support here, but I would like to see some strength here at the 21. But that's a pretty sharp turn, and then location's not very good. So like, my gut tells me that we could easily see lower lows down the road. So looking at this chart, it's like, be careful trading meme coins is what I'm seeing. But maybe this thing like fails again and has to set up again down here, and then we get meme season again at that point. So wow, look at all the sellers. I mean, there's small numbers, but it's mostly red on the. So anyway, maybe memes aren't really the best thing to rush into right now. And again, remember the whole conversation about Bitcoin and stealing the spotlight here. So I think that's smart. I'm going to go patiently, and I might take a couple, like I did take one today, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a pretty good example of the same point I'm trying to make. But moving on, like another like older one that I like, this one, I think Popcat, this one we traded through here. This is one of my better ones. And now it's come, like this one looks a lot like that other one, but you can kind of see the support building against the 21 here. This is a 4-hour chart, and it's down, below 78.6, and it's trying to like W kind of thing. But this is what I'd sort of like to see for a potential change in trend. So honestly, I bought it here on that breakthrough again, and I don't have a problem buying here either. I mean, it's a little bit chasing, but you're just basically taking a bet that this could go into an uptrend. It's turning. You can even see like the W in the moving average. So like, I like that. And I think this one has the thumbs up from Carol as one that might have some potential like legs going forward. It might not just die out. So I like old Popcat. Of course, it does have equal highs here, and they haven't, they might take those out and come back in again. Who knows? Hasn't truly broken out yet, but this is sort of what I like to see for a turn. You can kind of see it turning. So like, that's one that I'm going to keep, well, like I said, I'm already long, but I'm going to keep it sort of in my short list, I guess. Um, Another one that like we all have kind of been trading and Paul's even got some NFTs is this Popo, and this one sort of has the thumbs up from Carol as being an active project that has legs, but it hasn't quite been able to get it together. But it's a good example too of that 21 EMA. Just sort of it's showing me that it's just not quite ready yet here. I mean, it tried to get going, came back under it again, and now that it is still just sort of, it looks heavy to me, and there's still downside risk to the if you look left. So I do like that consolidation, and any like a break of like these levels, for example, and have a real W working. Like if it took that high out with some strength and you could sneak in, then that 21 will start pointing up, and this might have some potential here. But right now, it's just sort of going sideways, not doing much. Popo. Um, and what else I got? Oh, and then the one I traded today, which like this is a good example of kind of running out of gas. This was one of Carol's, and I mean, don't judge me on my entry or my choice of names. This is a gently used nose cocaine. This one, before I talk about cocaine, I'm going to look at their website because, oh, wait, their website's not even on here. That's funny. Go look up gently used nose cocaine. It's just funny. Or no, that was a different one. That was CUC, the one I'm thinking. There was some other cocaine name, but nonetheless, I woke up this morning and look at it on this chart. Yeah, so like, I mean, this is talk about ape, and I woke up and Carol had bought here. Of course, he's or somewhere in here. He had a way better entry than me, but this is a good example of like here, I could have seen maybe taking a shot as we were breaking through the 21, and you see the W's. So it's like, sure, fair enough. Like, that's okay. And it didn't work. Ironically, it would have still worked if you weren't working a stop, but you would have had to go underwater for a while. Or maybe you wouldn't have gotten a double, but it looks like you would have. But it's still that same point. But I really like this here as it broke through, found support, and then even found support again. Like, I actually just went aped right there. And then it pulled back, and I tried to buy a little more. Anyway, I ended up, and that's not my exact average cost. I think I was in a little lower, but not a great entry. I just fucking hit the bid. But that's the thing is like, I woke up with him saying he was real bullish on this one. I trust his judgment. And I just said, fuck it. I'm going to take my small shot. And if I can get half off on a free position, then I will. And sure enough, I did get my half on a double really quickly. Like it only took like, I don't know, this was took like a couple hours. And then you can see how it found support against the 21 and it popped again to a new high, and it looked like it wanted to go. But I think the broader market today just sort of said no. And so now it's like, this is my point about this is, so I have a free position now, but does this free position just go to zero? Could happen. So right now, I don't think buying it right here is that great. Unless you had a good reason. If you believe that this thing, I don't know. Technically, just looking at charts, I think it's better to let this 21 EMA come down and have some consolidation, and maybe we get a W through it, and that'll be the next buy opportunity. So I'm not saying it's in good location, but it's hard to say whether this just goes zero here or not. Cocaine bear. I mean, and these things are just like total pieces. I mean, let's be fair. Look at this one, has like very little liquidity now. This has 5.8K at the moment, and it was like 11 back here, I think, if I remember, which is getting really low. And maybe I'll like, as I learn more, I'll report more on the complications or just like sort of the complexity of that. Like, and we can look at, see if liquidity's locked and all that. I mean, you don't really want to get rugged, and you want to avoid situations where like, one wallet has all the coins and they actually can pull the liquidity. That did happen to me on a name actually already in the last month. And it was a super long shot punt. It just went to zero in like seconds. Hydra or something like that. So anyway, this is, I don't know, this is probably the state of the memes. It looks kind of like they're not ready to keep going. And yeah, if you're lucky enough to get a double, you might have to just run out of steam on the rest. That happened to me yesterday too, on a different one. But like, and then maybe I'll wrap up my little Solana talk with just a quick look at the new ones and just see like, maybe we can just pick a couple off real quick and see if they're like, how they look. It's just pretty fun to go to new pairs here and just look at Solana. And I mean, I'll just randomly pick the first one, start with Bong. So of course, here's a brand new one. Um, I mean, it's a little older actually. If you go to a minute chart, it's a few hours old. I guess it's like, is it from today? Yeah, it's from today, but this is a pretty good example, I'd say. You can see how it's just run out of steam here. I mean, it did make a pretty epic move. Let me throw my 21 on here just because I think I like again, see that W kind of action through the 21 there? Like if you relate to this pump and you're like, oh shit, I missed it. I mean, even that dip right there would have been a nice place to think. But point being, if you miss the dip, they usually do this. It kind of rolled over, put in M's, and it had to sort of, that's probably pump chaser zone off the, if we drew fibs from here. So if it's a trend, you should see some strength in the pump chaser zone, right? If it truly is a trending name that's going to continue trending higher. And you can see how it did come right down into the pump chaser zone here. That's the 50% level right at the bottom. And then using that 21 as like your guide is kind of how I see it. And so the W came in and that breakthrough, I would have just basically went and aped if I was watching this thing and had that opportunity. And then you can see it did it again, ugly here. That wasn't as easy, but the support against the 21. And it just, the 21 just justifies the trend in my opinion. And then as it starts being broken, it's like, I'm not too interested in like longing this dip until I see this 21 round out a bit and consolidate price around it. But this is sort of the same story here. It looks like this new one from today is running out of gas now. And so before I take a shot on this, I do want to just see that 21 do the same thing. Probably come, as this thing. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Like as this comes down and does that, and price kind of does whatever it's going to do. Eventually, it'll sort of do that, and then maybe I'll be interested like over there. So that's my general thinking on these. I don't know, for what it's worth. I could also just do whatever Carol does because that seems to work really well. So I'll probably just be trying to copy him as much as I can. And of course, like if you have your risk management in order and you're able to step into these fucking highly volatile, super risky markets, but you can do it in a way where you're not blowing yourself up, then it becomes a question of like how strong are your convictions, and can you just like stay in a winner and let your winners run and have some losers go to zero. So that's a whole handful of those sort of Solana memes. I'll keep it. Whoa, look at that. It just dumbed down. Did you see that? That's hilarious. That's exactly like you could have bought right there and then immediately went like 50% or more underwater. Yeah, so that proves my point on how volatile and crazy risky these things are. And they just don't seem like they have it. Let's look at one more new one really quick. Let's see if the next one, Clippy. Oh, Clippy. Is this Clippy from Microsoft? It probably is. Isn't that that guy's name? That same kind of thing. I mean, big run up, big M's now. Looks like it's kind of just run out of gas. So we'll check in with these kind of things later, see if they set up again. But let's see, next on my agenda today, Dalmoody's saying 13 EMA and 30 EMA is also useful. Yeah, sure. I mean, honestly, I think you could use any. They're all the same. Like, I mean, moving averages are like you could use the 13 EMA in the same way I was using the 21 EMA, and it just makes it a little more aggressive. So it shows the same thing. It's just faster and more aggressive, and probably has more fake outs. Or you could use even like a 50 EMA, and it's going to be slower with less fake outs, but worse location to buy. If you're buying breaks through it and stuff, it's going to be crappier location. So you kind of just have to find the number that works for you. And, moving averages are kind of shitty in general. They're not like the best. It's hard to build a win rate that's good enough off just a simple moving average kind of setup. But I think in this particular case where it's just like you can't really use indicators in this. It's like a 1 minute chart or a 5 minute chart. And you're really just trying to ask yourself, is it trending or not? And the moving averages can be, if you kind of know how to look at them, they can be pretty beneficial for just sort of gauging whether it's like a sidewaysy trend market or sidewaysy range, sorry, or if it's actually got some legs behind it and you could ape in. Cause like I'm not doing the same kind of like pullback buying, and I want to get better. I've had some really shitty entries, to be fair. um, so yeah, Dalmuti, yeah, sure, you could use that, use the cross that way or whatever. You know, that's all. Yeah, you could do that. It's probably very similar to what I'm doing. But you could use like a moving. He's just talking about a 1330 moving average cross system, which of course is another shout out to Brian Beamish. The 13 EMA 30 MA is his. What does he call it? Especially on the weekly charts, the commodity index something, or that's just part of it though. But of course, the 1330 works really well on weekly charts for determining this same kind of thing I'm talking about, like where the turn is. If it is this thing ready to turn? I thought next I would just to kind of show some people a little bit about our Discord. And Stefan had been posting some trades earlier today that I just wanted to take a look at. Of course, Discord just seemed to, we have so like one of our rooms is this trade ideas room, and people just throw setups in here. We try to throw these setups are supposed to be posted before the entry in general. We're not posting stuff after it's too late. And it looks like today, basically, Stefan was in there trading, and I noticed this one, take profit, was hit. I think that's this one. This is like a ES 500, S&P 500 trade. You can see he posted right at the entry here. Suppose we could go look that up and see what happened, but I'll just take his word for it. This is a pretty classic Stefan-looking trade to me. But you can see the entry level and stops there for you, and then I guess he took 0.5 risk, and that was at 8:33 a.m. my time, and I suppose by 10:03 a.m. he's saying that take profit was hit. It's a nice one. Looks like he has some crypto in here too, ZBC, USDT. This is a swing trade or a position trade, a 3-day chart, but pretty similar. This is similar to like a lot of the things we do. W's coming in, retest the W. Nice place to be considering a long, I'd say. What else is in here? This is an idea from Elvis. Looks like nice W. So this is NWC USDT. That's a weekly chart there, so really nice W. Let's go look at that one for sure. So you can see that he's got his SHOD level up here, looking to buy about 8 cents and sell half at 16 cents. That's NWC. Let's look at NWA. I don't know. Was that one? Oh, whoops, wrong one. Is he looking at it on KeyCoin? Yeah. Let's go to a weekly chart and see what's going on here. That's a good segue into also the I have 5 names that I'm gonna show you guys that I'm bidding on that are in just like regular altcoin land. Damn, that's a nice chart. So that's the kind of stuff that we love, of course. I mean, just looking left right away, you can see they brought it all the way back down to the old lows against the old structural breakout levels kind of thing. Like that's the old W level. And that's funny. Like, I mean, how many times do we have to like see this happen? But like, I mean, you can see that W come in. It was a little low. They didn't quite hit that one yet, but that one they sure did. So, the sort of big W breakout that started the bull trend last time around is now the bottom. So always look left and kind of try to, look at this as either a place where price might still need to come down because it hasn't retraced enough yet, or it's already hit and you've found support there. I mean, anybody that stepped in and just bought that level right there, I suppose already banged out quite a nice trade. That would have been 05, and then this got all the way up to 18 cents. And then they're in the process of repeating the whole thing again. So nice W's coming in here. And truthfully, it's just like his chart. I mean, I don't know. It's a little on the aggressive side in the current climate, I think, because this one didn't really perform recently for whatever reason. I mean, it kind of did. It's still it's still almost doubled right there even. Yeah, practically doubled in that move. But it didn't start trending higher or anything. But, I can't fault anybody for maybe buying that W right there, actually. I mean, it's in a reload zone if we just drew fibs off of even this level here. We're already down at, well, it's right at 78.6. So 786 is 0.75, and that breakout level is 0.75. So I don't even think I can trade this one news crypto, but just keep it on your wheelhouse if you're on KuCoin. And I'll look at OBV really quick, and just you can see OBV sort of kind of confirming that. In fact, we even have a little divergence right in through there because we did make a W in OBV as price just barely ticked to a new low there. So that's nice. That's a sort of weekly. So we had a day trade in here. We had a sort of swing trade, still kind of almost investor level 3-day chart trade, and then we had that NWC, and you can see Stefan said Elvis's idea from the live, because on Tuesdays during the London session they were scalping live. So these 3 trades probably came out in the live. Oh, cool! My soul trade just hit my target, and man, I barely got. Didn't miss my stop. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, thankfully that never happens. It's always the opposite. They always miss my target by like a tick and then stop me out or something. So anyway, this is just one room. Of course, we post a lot of trade ideas in here. There's some shorts from, these things can range anywhere from scalps to weekly charts, like I said, but there's always trade ideas in here. Of course, we've been real active in our degen room too lately. You can see that, like, we're just, we've been talking about SEI names lately a lot, and CoinHall here is a place to trade the SEA, or however you say that, SEI net. I think that might be one of the ecosystems that could see some traffic going forward here. So I don't have it up. I did buy. Oh, I do have it. Like, this was one of Carol's from today, and I did take a nibble here. This is also, it's called Dojo. This is on SEI. I have no idea what it is or what it does. I don't know. It's very new. I mean, it's a few days old. It's like 5 days old, and it looks like it's just sideways range bound, but I'm kind of just watching it here. I took a little nibble, and I'd, buy more if it can start Wing out. It looks like it's just kind of moving sideways here. So we'll just have to see. It might have to come back down to the original bottom, but this is just an idea of the kind of stuff we've been looking at lately. Another one that I bought on this is the Telegram bot that we were using to trade these things. Doesn't look so good though. This is Saber, but I'm gonna just sort of dollar cost my way into this a little bit. It seems to be a good, the bot seems to work pretty well. And I think if the SEA say, I don't know if I heard a person say SEA, I don't know if it's that SCI, I don't even know what it is. But if this thing has any future, this network, then maybe something like this could work out. And then there's the competing one is shit, I forgot the name. Is it Cook? Is it this one? Shit. Oh yeah, I have it starred. So yeah, this one I bought and it went to hell. So you can see how this is like. Can I put a 21 EMA on here? I bet you I didn't have it on there, but I can kind of just, or I'd probably have to put EMA. But this was a failed one. Anyway, this is a competitor of that, another Telegram bot, which I haven't used, which it looks like the other one's winning the war. You can see how even just without even having the 21 EMA on here, I was still thinking of that same kind of like, maybe this was the breakout and we could start pushing higher. Of course, it wasn't, and so now I'm pretty substantially underwater. So that's the thing, you have to be able to stomach this shit, and you can't go and bet the farm here and then go underwater like that. So be careful, and because location's not particularly great, right? That's the danger here. Like, sure, I'm getting, if this is still a broader uptrend, then it might turn here, but as a range trader, that's horrible location with all this downside risk, which now I have to pay the price for. And so I'll wait, and same thing. If the 21 can sort of start flatlining and we start Wing through it, then maybe I'll add to this. I don't know. But those are 2 SEI names too, just to think about. So anyway, that's kind of where my thinking's at here. Solana's awesome. I actually love. I mean, like I was saying, Solana was also the other thing that got me kind of excited about crypto. It's just it's cheap to trade. It works really well. You can use this Telegram bot, and it makes it. You can completely just degen from like bed if you want. Which I'm not really recommend. I mean, I recommend that only if you've done the work to learn the process first and actually have your risk management plan sorted out. You know how to build a plan. You know how to like execute your plan across a bunch of trades, and not just like, willy-nilly different trades here and there, and not being able to manage it all. You'll get fucking killed if you do that. So I highly recommend learning the process first and then considering this kind of degenerate bullshit where it's like some of my entries have just been despicable. Like they're not good at all. But it's like sort of if the wind's at your back, are you willing to step in? And you can only do this, by the way, during the right time, right? Like if you're trying to trade Solana meme coins during the bear market, you're gonna just get destroyed. So maybe give and to be fair, this looks like hell right here. So I don't know I haven't looked at SCI names enough. I don't know anything about it. I'm just sort of getting my feet wet here a little bit. Of course, the coin SCI went nutso. And probably so let's look at that one really quick too, just to sort of wrap up this on-chain talk, because we already saw Sol had Sol has a daily M, and SCI I think looks a lot stronger, to be honest, if I remember. Yeah, so this damn thing, I mean, when you look at something like that, you can't really do anything here. But I'm not seeing the same kind of weaknesses. I mean, to be fair, Solana did this, right? That's exactly how Solana looks pretty much. And of course, you have the previous price history on Solana to sort of weigh against, and Solana's up at 38.2. But when I look at something like this, I can't really call it top here, right? It's just sort of, it's just been strongly trending higher, and I suppose if we look at a daily chart, maybe that M could come in that Solana already has. You definitely can see it, so maybe this thing's running out of steam too. RSI definitely looks like it's broken here with an M coming in. Not really, I mean, divergence from way back there potentially, but not really a clean divergence there. And OBV also is trying to M out, but hasn't fully broken. But if I see that M and OBV come in, then I'm gonna, and that's probably gonna likely coordinate with the M and this breaking down. So I suppose any losses of the kind of that 58 level, then it's like we might have rolled over. And just for shits and giggles, I'll throw the 21 on here and just I don't want to do that fucking. I mean, I bet you it's been support through here, and then now it's being tested. Now I have to because I said it. But I don't really have it set up on TradingView here, so I got to go find. And I don't know why. I mean, the 21 is very commonly used. It's just, it's not like I'm inventing anything here. I mean, I do love that. Like you can see, like it's sort of like my everything I talk. I mean, it's very similar to my squeeze setup. That's why I kind of use it. It like once I've traded that Bollinger Band squeeze so much that now a moving average is enough for me to see it. I can when you see the, it's because Bollinger Bands are based off of a moving average, right? But when price started getting above the 200 there, and even that candle there where they checked it and kept going, that's when I think you could make a pretty good argument we were about to go into an uptrend, and the retests along the way, even that one right there just sort of confirmed the uptrend. They even confirmed it again there. And now we're just potentially Ming out. The problem with moving averages here is if you wait to short down here when you lose the moving average, it's just horrible location. But if you're just using it as going like, well, all I can say right now is this is still in an uptrend until I see this truly broken and maybe even test it on the underside and roll over, then this thing's still trending higher. So it's not broken yet. And Solana's already broken in a lot of ways. So on the daily, at least. So who knows? Maybe the money all shifts to SCI. This thing consolidates for a bit, and then it starts ripping again. And maybe we go buy a dick and cocaine memes over there. Cool. Well, I didn't see any requests in the chat. I don't think. Let's see. And so I'll just rip through the 5 that I have really quick. Kind of scanning the chat. Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I'm just reading the. Yeah, no requests in the chat. And I suppose we do have a request room, but I don't think there's. I guess there is one. Oh wait, I was supposed to look at something, or this was a little older. To be fair, we're not. Most of the people in our group aren't asking TA questions, so we don't get super. This is only our premium side, so there's not a lot of requests in the TA requests usually. And for that matter, if you ever have any questions, it's best to just show up in our general chat over here and join our Discord, and you can throw any questions in here. And this is Paul's trading Solana or what? that's Bitcoin, but that looks like my Solana short, but I didn't get stopped out on the. Well, so there you go. That's a classic 5-minute Paul Bitcoin trade. But the point I was making is if you join the CTA lounge is just the room that's available for everyone. If you go to cryptotradersarena.com and join our Discord, you can pop in here. And if you want to post any names for me to look at, or for Paul, or any of the, several people might pipe in, feel free to do that. Or if you have questions about anything really, and certainly if you have questions, we are starting our Capua One training program up here shortly. If you're interested in that, you can pop in here and ask questions there. You can DM me directly if you have any questions, but we will be starting that probably here getting early into February. And we're basically teaching people our trading methodology, get you up to like swing trading level in about 3 months, and then you spend another month trading with us and another 8 months after that still trading with us. And so it's just, basically we're welcoming you into the community. We're going to teach you exactly how we do it. We've tried to create a simplified process that weeds out all the rabbit hole going down and all that bullshit, and just kind of we'll teach you a few setups, teach you the process, teach you how to manage your risk, teach you how to build a plan and follow it. And then it becomes you become like a colleague of ours, and we all just keep working, because you never perfect this stuff. And trading's funny, because I can show you all these things and I can simplify it, make it really easy to learn. But if you're not going to do the work and yourself, then at the end of the day, you still got to pull the trigger for yourself. So trading always becomes a very individual affair, which is cool. And also why we kind of love having this community, and we're trying to build this community, because it's like we can still sort of rally together as a community to help each other get better and share ideas and make it even easier when there's like a million eyeballs on all this stuff. But at the end of the day, everybody's kind of got to go back to their own desk and either execute or not. And so we're trying to train you how to execute and take trades in the market. And then we're going to try to offer you the support you need on a continual basis going forward. And, you become a member of our community, and we all just keep working to refine our craft together. That's the point of all this. It's like, it is fun to teach people how to trade, actually, but it's not like my life dream. But I am very vested in the idea of building this community and also sharing knowledge. It's fun. The sharing knowledge is fun, so that part's cool. And hopefully we'll just, by the bull market, we'll be running on all cylinders with a bunch of awesome traders. So yeah, if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to me. On Discord is the best way to do that. And I guess I'll wrap this up real quick with, now people are throwing, oh, hey, Richard, are you the Richard that used to have the piano in your picture? I don't know. Michael's saying he recommends the Capua One program. Thank you, sir. Yeah, he was one of our first victims. And I was saying earlier in that room, we had our trade review session today, that, this trading's funny. Like I was trying to, like in my head, I thought of it the other day. It's like this isn't like a linear learning process. Like, when we were kids, you go to school and it's very linear. You go to like kindergarten, and they teach you how to like not punch each other or whatever they teach you in kindergarten. And then by first grade, you learn how to read, and then you learn math and whatever. It's like very step-by-step linear. And there's like a person that's in theory way smarter than you, the teacher, that like has all the information, and they basically tell you step-by-step how to learn it. It's a lot different for this, because one, we're all adults, and we all have different experience levels in life, and our our intelligence and wisdom and experience is all different. And it's, I might be in a situation where I'm teaching somebody who's way smarter than me how to trade. Like that's like I don't have all the information, and it's not like I can just provide somebody else with all the information. They can just go learn to read. It becomes like much less, oh, cool. It is the same, Richard. Nice. Good to see you. Richard Keys. Um, I think you told me you wanted a Juno 6. Did you say that? I don't know. I've been getting into synthesizers lately, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, like I've been I don't know. I've been getting into synthesizers lately. Um, let's see what was my so anyway, this sort of learning to trade things almost it's like non-linear in that sense. It's like you kind of have to pick up with from the experience level you have, not to mention the fact that most of the people that are going to probably take our course have already done some amount of trading. They already have some amount of experience in whether it's even investing in their own 401ks or whatever, or like maybe they just have a managed 401k or something. And so everybody's starting from a different place, which adds some difficulty to it. But also, I'd argue that you kind of have to learn things from like a few different areas simultaneously. It's like you kind of have to be brushing up on your technical analysis while also working on like sort of your behavioral things and psychological things around trading. And then also, while learning how to use the exchanges, for example, and learn how to use all the tools. And then, of course, you have to learn setups. And you kind of have to, it's like you're learning how to use each individual technical analysis tool, but you're also trying to learn how to compile those together into a setup that you can use. And you also are trying to figure out what speaks to you, because there's like 8 million types of trading. So like you kind of have to get some sort of conceptual idea of like what type of trader you are at that same time too. So it's like you're working on all these different things. And I think it's like a very repetitive learning process. It's not like you learn how to read once and then you know how to read. It's like you kind of like learn how to read and then you got to go back and learn a little bit more how to read. And then you learn a few other things somewhere else and it sets off some light bulbs. And you have to go back and sort of learn some other things, So it's like this circular pattern of like learning and trying new things and failing and trying again and failing again and trying again. And so that's why it's like we've kind of, we're going to cram the curriculum into the first 3 months, and we've simplified it down to the stuff that we think you absolutely have to know to set a base foundation for any type of trading career going forward. And then from there, it just becomes like practice, 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 which is why we technically have extended this out for a whole year. Although the attention you get directly from Paul and I isn't as much then, although we're always around and we're always answering everybody's questions. But it's like, it's like the Guild of Bulls. Like I love like Hanya's guild. It's sort of like a guild in that way, that we're just a bunch of different people coming from various levels of experience. And the more experienced people are sharing with the less experienced people, and everybody's constantly practicing and trying to get better. And over time, you'll just sort of find what works for you and correct your mistakes, which ironically, correcting mistakes is probably it's sort of the biggest part of the journey in a lot of ways, like making the mistakes and then correcting them. So yeah, that's sort of my rant on education, or teach people how to trade. And still haven't gotten to my 5 names. So I'll just, I think I'll wrap it up. Well, there was some names I guess I'll run through a few more too, because there's I recognize the 3 anyway: CRV, ARB, and ICP. I'll bang through these super quick just to try to not take much time. I know that like they're not really viable. Like Arbitrum, I have gotten a double off on recently, but we'll leave the 21 EMA on for fun, actually, and just look at daily charts. Just change it up a little bit. How about, because weeklies? I mean, clearly, well, I want to make the point that, like, again, and I'll probably say this every week going forward, is I'm a bull. I believe that that the bottom is in. I could be wrong, but I believe that there's a base set for a bull run into the halving, just like the past, and nothing's happened to change that for me yet. Now the sort of like, so anyway, like I said, I'm a buy the dip person. I want to buy reload zones near weekly W's, which this is a weekly W, but it's also on the daily. You can clearly see it. So first and foremost, anything I look at that looks like this, and let's go to the weekly, because I'm really only trading on weekly charts in this kind of environment, like in this type of trading. But it's still a good example. Perfect weekly W, even through the 21 EMA, which isn't uncommon. You can see the support built at the 21 EMA on a weekly chart even. But any chart I pull up going forward for the rest of the year that I see a weekly W and then a run up like this, I'm just going to draw my fibs. And anywhere that if 78.6 comes in anywhere around the breakout level, then I'm going to buy it. Pretty much. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. So, of course, is that right here? Like the fact that 78.6 is so close to that makes me think that the top might be in, although it certainly doesn't look like the top's in. Arbitrum could keep ripping. I don't think you can be a buyer right here. But point being, any pullbacks into reload zones I think are buyable opportunities. Just buy the dip for the rest of the year until I'm proven otherwise. And if everything goes to zero, at least I'll know I followed my plan. Because that's my plan. So, and I haven't put in the lounge today. I posted a couple names that I was going to talk about here in a minute anyway that I'm bidding on, and I said this is my I'm looking left for a weekly W, which like on Arbitrum we already had. I'm going to draw my fibs. I'm going to work a bid in RLZ near previous W breakout level. And if I can have OBV pointing in my favor, that's even a bigger plus. And even that, I don't know if OBVs are all going to look pretty decent now. So it's like that was sort of last year, accumulation year. I was really looking for OBV to help me time a reversal and a possible bottom. But now I think the bottom's in. So OBV becomes a little less important to me, to be honest, on these weekly charts. But never hurts to have a nice big old W or divergence in OBV. So going back to ARB, I mean, we could look at OBV even and just see what's going on. And it's a W. I mean, that's the thing, is most OBV is going to look like this, nice and strong. But you can see the weekly W came in, so I looked left and there's a weekly W. I drew my fibs next. I don't know if this is the top yet, so I'll just have to keep adjusting them. And then when the top comes in, I'm going to hunt bids in around RLZ and especially around the old breakout level. So in this case, it's 98 cents, big fat round number. $1 is 78.6. So somewhere in there down the road. CRV, I think, is similar. I mean, a lot of these are going to look like this now. I mean, CRV didn't really perform, to be fair. So I guess it's different in the sense that the weekly W came in, it tried to break out and then failed. So I suppose I am long that W, because I last year was happy to buy these W's. I made that huge list of weekly W's. This was on it in our show, in these shows, basically this Tuesday show. And this was one that didn't produce doubles. And you can see even with the 21 EMA here, it's losing the 21 EMA here. So it kind of looks like it has lower lows in the future, to be honest. I don't think it's quite turned, but at the same time, it's still against the previous W and hasn't broken down yet. So it's definitely buyable right here, actually. If you like CRV, in my opinion, I don't have a problem with that. I'm talking about me. I don't have a problem for me to do that. I'm not saying you guys should do what I'm saying. But if I drew fibs off this and just kind of was hunting 78.6, that's 45 cents. That seems totally okay and reasonable to me. I don't love it though, because like OBV is looking a little wonky and actually sort of potentially it's got a lower high here and it could actually turn into an M. And RSI is just sort of wavering at the 50 line. And my gut kind of tells me this thing might have to go after like the lows here or something. Just because it didn't really perform along with everything else. It sort of was sluggish. But in general, it's got a W. It's just a question of whether you take a shot there and if it can hold that W. And I would just add that, like, the thing is like the high flyers are looking like they want to pull back. So what happens to like one of the ones that did perform when it pulls back strongly? This thing's probably going to come lower and have to set up again. So the ones that are sort of like I think it's probably best to hunt strong, hunt things that were strong last quarter first. And don't worry, and be more patient with ones that didn't quite perform and truly break out here, because they're probably weak, or at least lagging. And so, like, it's probably better to buy pullbacks on the strong ones, I'd say. Yeah, Guild of Bulls is brand new, Richard. Actually, he's saying Guild of Bulls is new to him. It's not even launched yet. That's why I was asking everybody to go follow him on Twitter. I'll give Guild of Bulls another shill. Go follow Guild of Bulls on Twitter. Help them get to, they got a couple. It was 66. That'd be funny if that was 420, honey. You got to go follow 300 more people so you have 69, 420. But cool. So go follow crypto. Go follow Guild of Bulls. Get that to 100, and then I think these will launch on Magic Eden in like a week or something. So help them do that. Anyway, back to CRV, and I'll move on to ICP, which I know is another high flyer. So these aren't ones that we can do much with right now. But it's a good example of like one that's a strong high flyer, and so like you can see the little weekly W way down here. You can also see that 21 EMA shift in trend here. We've found support against it. That's a good sign when that's happening, especially if you can find like OBV divs and stuff, which in this case, OBV wasn't in divergence. It just kind of W'd out. But I can't really do anything here except what I was just talking about, which is drama fibs. You know, to be fair, the W's way down here. 76 is way up here at 570, but that's kind of the area. In a case like this, I'm not really interested in buying Mountain Man that high up. I'd rather just work at 76 and below here, but it's still very viable. Not at this level, very viable in the future at these levels. And of course, if you're FOMOing into this, you might tell me, "Fuck you, man! It's never going back down. This thing's gone to the moon." You can almost even see, like, I mean, this, you can't say a lot about this. It's not like it's topped out, but it could be an empire top here kind of thing if we tick lower next week. But that's sort of running out of gas a little bit. RSI got way overbought. It's not really broken. It's just this one's been really strong lately, and it's hard to imagine it'll make its way back down to buyable levels, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And I'll show you some ones that I think are like these 5 are the ones that was going to talk about today that I'm bidding on. Although except this voxel, I actually think it is on Coinbase. I need to verify that. I don't actually have bids on that one yet, but I want to, and it's a nice looking chart. But here's this is SPA, which is a perfect example of the exact same thing I'm talking about here. And this one's very clean. You can see the nice W came in. Actually right through the 21 EMA and support found against it too again. But you can see where 78.6 is the W breakout level. That's like, this is a perfect one in that sense. You know, basically the W level is 48 cents and 78.6 is 48.6. Well, 0048. So not 48 cents, 40, whatever that is, for you know, 0.0048. But perfect example of how like these things shoot up. It gave doubles, and you can see the M now. It's sitting at Mountain Man, but I think also this is too aggressive for me to go buy Mountain Man here. That's a little chasey in my opinion. I think these are still going to come back down lower, but the M's in now, and so it's not too far from, you know, it's still I don't know, whatever that is, 25% down from where it's at or something. So anyway, somewhere down around this area is where my bids are going to be, 78.6 and 88.6. So that's a pretty good example of one that and going forward, like you can see how they've repeated this sort of process a few times. Now we have a nice base back here, like it was below the 21 really. So the trend was still down in these pumps. And then slowly but surely they've been, you know, they went into a range, and now we might possibly be starting a new uptrend. Again, I think the bottom's in. So I'm looking to buy the dip. Sure, this might go lower, but I think my conviction is that I'm going to be willing to buy against these W's. So that's one. Gods Unchained doesn't seem to want to come down, but I really want to buy this one because I have a friend, the same friend that talks about the Bitcoin crunch. He's been playing with these cards forever, way before it was like a coin, but I want to buy it just because of him. But you can see where my bids are. I mean, this one I am bidding 61.8 mostly because I like that W and I'm willing to hit that. I don't have any of this, and I like that other one I've already gotten a double off on. This one I haven't bought yet, but I like that W. I like moves 61.8, but I also especially like dips deeper too if I can get filled there. And you can kind of see it happening. You know, sure, like the 21 is support right now, so maybe this thing turns around and goes into a mega bull run right here, and I miss it. What can I do? I'm not really willing to buy it right here, but I like it. This is another one that might fall into the category of not really performing recently, but either way, W's in, OBV divs in. And it's checking the W level now. So like I could throw that in. I'll just throw it in the trade ideas room just for fun. Where's the trade ideas? I'm just going to throw it in here just to let those people chew on it. Because, I'm already long, actually. I bought the breakout here in the first place. It didn't really do anything, and now it's just right back to my level. Then I thought I'd pull up Link, too, just as like one of the ones that I think is a good barometer of the whole space. And it's got the same situation here. Weekly W's in, M's in, like it's like not really an M because it did take a new high here, but it's sort of M-ish looking, kind of rolling over. You can sort of see the pullback coming, and I'm just looking to buy, anywhere basically at 960 and below, I think is okay. I'm not going to buy it right here. Not sure why I had this line up here, but they couldn't take that high out for whatever reason. Ooh, I feel like my YouTube is tripping out here. It's saying it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Hopefully my streaming's still going okay. I'm about done anyway. I'm going to move on to Voxel. And these all look the same, basically. So, this one's the same thing. Nice W. I don't have bids yet working. I got to verify. I think it might be on Coinbase, but I'm not sure. It might not. But this one has a nice OBV divergence that's confirmed now. Nice weekly W that's very well confirmed. And now you can see the setup happening or coming in here. I like buying 17.5 cents or 14.5 cents. These two breakout levels, which coincide with basically Mountain Man and 78.6 or 88.6 kind of areas. And you can see it just happening. I mean, and it might happen quick. These things might go like that and then like that. I've seen it happen before. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure, but we're getting closer to the halving. So I don't think you have, well, I don't want to say it like that. I think time is running out in some ways. I don't think you want to be caught sleeping now. Like now is not the time to fuck around. You got to have your bids working on the names that you want to buy and just let the market come down. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for today. It's been about an hour and a half, and I think I got through everything I was going to talk about. Feel like I covered a lot of things, actually. Hopefully it was of value to you guys. I definitely gave you 5 altcoins to consider investing in or weekly chart kind of buying. Talked about some shit coins. The memes sort of seem to be on hold. So yeah, like to back up a little bit, altcoins are setting up for buying opportunity, in my opinion. Meme coins on Solana are a little bit overcooked, maybe. That's just my feeling. I don't know. So I'm a little hesitant to go aping in just without thinking too much, just going hog wild. And then SEI is maybe the next spot for some trading. So I'm looking into that, trying to get my ducks in a row to be able to trade over there so that when that happens, I'm ready. Like I didn't catch Bonk, or I guess Bonk was probably the first Solana meme that went just absolutely nuts. And I wasn't even really trading on Solana. So I don't want that to happen to me going forward. I'm going to slowly make my way through all of them, make sure I'm set up on every chain that I want to trade on. And SEI is the one that I'm working on right now. We'll see how that goes. So I'll report on that more, and then follow the Guild of Bulls on Twitter. We'll see what happens. We'll end with a look at Bitcoin again, just see what happened in the last little while. See how that Darth Maul candle's working out. And yeah, just leave it at that. So join our Discord, please, if you'd like to hear more about what we do. And there's a shit ton of content we offer. I'm not going to go through it all right now. Tuesdays is a big day for a lot of stuff that we offer to the public. But hop in our Discord and just kind of check us out and see what we do. And of course, we always appreciate like a follow on YouTube and like on Twitter, or follow on Twitter, likes on YouTube, follows on YouTube, whatever, all that stuff. And I'll just say, well, that's all I have for today. So I'll just probably hit this disclaimer here in a minute, say bye to everybody, and hopefully you had a good New Year, and we're just like hitting the ground running here into January. I feel busy as fuck right now, actually, with just a lot of stuff going on, and also just kind of being excited about trading in general. So let's all go and make a bunch of money this year. I mean, I think the opportunity is presenting itself to us. Let's not get caught flat-footed and miss it. What might very well be the last buying opportunity before the bull run. Cool. Take care, everyone. Appreciate it. Good to see you, Richard, and all the other regulars in there. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.